So many of us grow up in environments where we are told what will make us happy. Make a lot of money, and you'll be happy. Get married, and you'll be happy. Do what your parents want, and you'll be happy. The problem with all of these messages is that they are false, even if we feel like they should be true. There are many people with money who live a life of misery. There are many married people who are unhappy. And there are many who did what their parents wanted them to do, who desperately wish for another life. As a professor, I can tell you that many false messages we hear come from our education system. If you're a student who gets good grades, employers will want you and you'll get a good job. But what is a good job? We are often told these are jobs that pay more than other jobs and have a certain amount of prestige associated with them. And in less than a year, many of them end up miserable. On the metric of happiness, they do no better than their peers who didn't perform as well in class. And many of them already realize on their first day at work that the reality of what they signed up for doesn't match what they expected. This has nothing to do with the school you attend. What people consider the very best schools don't produce graduates who end up any happier. This is because the problem doesn't come from any specific school, but the entire education system itself. I've seen this throughout my career as a professor who has taught at what many people think of as great institutions. And after years of seeing my students struggle to find happiness at work, I realized that it was us, the education system, who was failing them, over and over again. This happens because the system was never really designed for any of us to end up happy. An important question to ask then is, how does one find happiness at work? It really comes down to just one thing: having a strong sense of purpose. That's the difference I've seen with hundreds of students I've gotten to know throughout my career. But many people never find it. So many, in fact, that it's common for many to conclude that you can't really expect to find it in your work. And of course that's true, if you believe it. Now, how does one find their purpose? That's a great question, and it's usually a mystery to most people because no one usually teaches us about purpose while we're at school. There are two big challenges here for people who want to find it. The first is that they have to know their true self. Unfortunately, our society is primarily designed for us to not know ourselves, because that takes a commitment to real self-reflection. Instead, society generally rewards us for fitting into what it wants, offering us money, social status, even people we might want to associate with. Receiving these things can feel good, but they will often serve as a distraction in getting to know who we really are. The second big challenge is that we often have too limited a view of what opportunities the world offers us. Many of my students thought their working lives were a choice between no more than 2 or 3 clearly defined jobs, which is an incredibly narrow and incorrect way to see the world. But it's understandable why they saw such a small world. This is what we taught them in school. Now, in a world where so many never find purpose and where even the best schools fail the best and brightest in helping them find it, what are you supposed to do? The good news is that there is a way, but you have to become conscious enough first.